Live at 5. On the Dandy Show.
On the Dandy Show. What a beautiful day today. It got a little chilly though, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a little cold in the house. You can see the fucking your breath.
Yeah, you can see your breath.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's cold. Yeah, no one does it good.
Oh, what a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Dandy from Death to Lefties. How you guys doing today? And you know, we've had an amazing week. A lot of really fun things have happened, and met a lot of really interesting people, helped a couple of people through some things, but most of all, I learned some things about myself, and I learned even more today. So tune in, and we'll be with you guys in just a few minutes. So yeah, what a beautiful day it's been.
We're Beastie Boying it up.
Especially after the Super Bowl, yeah, what a song.
The Super Bowl. Oh, just wait till I get into that, brother.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun.
I mean, we've been talking about, you know, what the whole halftime show is, and then all I can say is just think about a symbolic figure that they like.
Tom Brady.
Another dimension. Oh,
well, and then this book, not mine. This other book. This is amazing. I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty in depth. Look at
what a day.
True U.S. history.
What a day it's gonna be. What a difference a day makes.
And then I literally have another set of books coming by the same author.
Wow.
That we'll have to touch on something that's pretty profound. Just the truth, you know, because you can't learn about the future until you know what really happened.
In the past, yeah.
We've been lied to so much.
It's not really, it shouldn't be called history, it should be called our story.
Especially like,
you know?
Secret history. Like, you know, why are there secret teachings? You know? Why are there secret societies? Why are there secret anything?
And then we're always told.
Why do we gotta keep secrets?
Well, think about the last person who still spoke up about that sort of thing. You know?
Whack, all of them.
That is one of my favorite words in my book is whack.
You know,
that goes on.
About it. It's whack. You know? So, I mean,
2 minutes.
You know, we'll get into that the more as we go, and you know, maybe we'll do like a whole, you know, like a couple shows just like devoted to like the secret teachings that we can, you know, just maybe enlighten some people a little bit to what's really going on around us.
Like I say, I think Dar said it right. Instead of trying to pose it as trying to teach people, well, he didn't say this part, but you know, I've been trying to explain and you know, like, no matter what our view is, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Yeah. Trying to impose that on someone is wrong.
Right.
But if you pose things in the what if scenario,
and the
so get them like
you just
you drop that knowledge, which makes them curious because it's going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
And then you put it in a what if scenario, and then they make what if? And that resonates with me, so I'm going to do some research on that. And
Mrs. Raines, how you doing, ma'am?
What ifs?
Right, I love what ifs.
Like
asking
you
the
know,
question for more knowledge.
like where we did the Women in Jeopardy show down at Los Angeles Theater at the Pacific Northwest therapy thing. They got all those like little empty lots down there and stuff. Like, be cool to turn those into like gardens and stuff and cool places to hang out because that's a cool downtown. And why don't we utilize it? You know, like, I know why we don't utilize it, because, I mean, you know, you go down there and there's some, you know, unsavories per se, but...
I love Beastie Boys. Mm-hmm. Back when music was music.
All right, welcome. This is DTL. I am Ben. How you doing today, Dandy?
I am amazing, brother. How are you?
Doing fantastic. How are you, Isaiah?
I'm wonderful.
You staying warm today?
Doing my best.
I mean, at least we are down in the Midwest right now.
Well, I heard it was 50 degrees today.
Well, and Minnesota, dude, like I know Chicago got it pretty bad. You know, the lake effect really gets you, but
Yeah.
negative 50. I know it was at least negative 50 real temperature.
Yeah.
Like that's colder than the Antarctic, you know. And I mean, there's some warm places down there too, but you know, that's
in the last 3 days, we've had some really good weather the last 3 days. Been able to go out and throw some discs.
Mm-hmm.
Got some beautiful views. If you guys haven't been down to the beach at the sunset the last couple of days, you're missing out. You really need to come down and really appreciate that. Take some friends or your family, your kids, dogs. Go down there and just throw some discs around. If you see us down there and you don't know how to play, I don't know how to play either. It's not like throwing a frisbee, but it is a lot of fun. You know, Isaiah here, he's been helping me out, and we meet some really fun, interesting people out there. But the cold, you know, I did a video the other night, and with the cold and everything, I wonder how many people have actually given blankets or like a coffee or something. You know, like that's. Especially all the pictures that we see, people bundled up like 12 blankets on a park bench, and it's negative 50 somewhere.
Yeah.
But then there was a community in Missouri, I think, that they opened up, Kansas City, I think it was, that they built a veterans retreat and gave veterans like a place for the winter.
Well, about time.
These,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
oh
awesome.
my gosh, it was beautiful. I could not believe it. Like my heart went this much bigger. You know.
I mean, things like that should always be, you know, relevant.
Yes.
Present.
Yeah.
You know, especially for people that have given themselves, you know, to what it is we are. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like rights for veterans are a must. You know, because they have one of the highest suicide rates as well. You know, like those people come from a place of, you know, absolute camaraderie, you know, where everyone around you is trying to pick you up, you know what I mean? So, and then they get let go out back into the world where, you know, the world's not so kind anymore, I feel like, you know? And these people lose that stronghold of a brotherly affection, or, you know, just that someone there for you always, you know? Someone always there to pick you up.
Well, you look after World War II. I mean, that was the rise of motorcycle gangs, and motorcycle gangs came about, you know, from veterans, and they were looking for that brotherhood, that camaraderie. You know, you are sort of taught in this world that it's me, mine, mine. It's me against them. You know, it's always us against them, me against them. You know, like you get into a job, you know, you aren't told to, you know, like you're told to help people out, but you know, how do you advance in a job?
By stepping on the person in front of you.
Being you know, not a morally objective or morally kind person. Right. You know, and we're trained to, you know, live our lives that way.
I really want to give a shout out to the CV63 and 62, the Independence crew, especially Ioya's G3. I love them guys. They were amazing. And on the 63, the ladies as well. Like you said, the brotherhood. It was just it was a family, and on every ship there are those families, and they do stick together. I still have to say the Ioya's AO organization. They do have yearbooks. They have cruise books, right? Like, here, sign my cruise book. But I do have to say the AO Association by far is one of the funnest. They really look out for their orties, and you know, so Ioya's forever, no matter what. Mike Rames, I love you, brother. And the military has kind of had a bad rap, let's say the last 10 years. And we already know my view on the uniform exchange, so we don't need to talk about how crap that is now. But the fact that you're right, like we need more for veterans. The suicide rate, 1-800-VA. I had it memorized, and I thought about coffee. And nobody's watching me drink this coffee. Katie's gonna be like, oh, and I said, whoa, my bad. I'll run an extra lap tomorrow. I owe you one. We were supposed to give up coffee today. So a reason for giving up coffee, right? Let's look at why we're going to sacrifice something. And there's two 5Ks coming up. I already have my team: Dar Caldwell, Katie, and Dalton. Let's call them Katie and Dalton. They're going to be my team for the 5K milk run in Ferndale, March 10th. So if there's anybody else out there in the area, Humboldt, Del Norte, Curry County, come on out and sponsor this. This is all the proceeds, I guess, go to some kind of kids foundation for the schools.
Nice.
So if you want to come down,
kind of extracurricular.
Yeah, and there's going to be like kids handing out cups of milk. I've talked to a couple of people. Haley Lamb. I was talking to her, asked her if she was going to have a team. She said no. So Haley, I challenge you anyway. If you are really for the people and that's why you ran, why don't you get a team together of your Congress people and some of your representatives and people, right? And let's challenge you. Us against you. Winner buys milk.
Cookies.
Yeah,
buys cookies.
All
right, so
they're giving milk.
So. There we go. So you guys got to buy cookies. And let's do average times because I know that I'm a little slower than others, but I also know that one of my ringers, teammates, is really quick. So how about it, Haley? Hit me up. Let me know. Get your team. Challenge accepted on our end. Challenge accepted. And then
remember that Cosby show?
What? The Cosby Show?
Yeah, where Bill Cosby with the old guy at the tap dance studio, and he's like, the old man has the challenge, and he's sitting down in the chair. No. He's like doing the tap dance.
I'll be honest, I never really watched that show.
Yeah. We didn't either.
Yeah, Cosby.
We watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air a couple of times.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple more times than that, but we didn't see that either. I was more Nick at Night, like Green Acres and Bewitched. And,
yes. So that's the milk run, March 10th in Ferndale. And I wonder if Guy Fieri's going to show up. So that's another throwdown. Guy Fieri, if you have a team too, bring them out. You only need 3 more. And hey, you know what? I'll even let you sponsor our team. Yeah. That's how nice of a guy I am.
We're challenging Bill Murray, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, and Bill Murray didn't show up.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
He's still got an hour and 40 minutes. So then...
He's a notorious party crasher.
He is.
This would be the right time to show up.
Well, wait, I brought something for him. And then April 27th is another 5K. It's called the Badass Beer Run. I don't know if I can say that on air, but I did. So we have the Badass Beer Run. It's another 5K, and that's going to be another fun one. I do have the same team, so I'm throwing out another challenge to. I'll let you know next week. I gotta find somebody.
You're looking strong at me.
But I know that you don't drink, so I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a fair challenge to you, right? I really don't. But I'm proud of you for not drinking. Like that's out of all those things in the world that people rely on as a crutch to really get themselves through. You know, it's really nice to see somebody that accepts life and pushes forward without the need of that alcohol.
Yeah.
And if you do drink, I bet you just kind of maybe have a beer, but then you're
Every once in a while, and even that's a super rarity.
Yeah, I enjoy my bottle of Crown at a time. I do. I'm good at it though. Good at it. Just kidding, it's half. Anyway, so yeah, we have those 2 5Ks coming up. If you guys want to come down, Dar said that he'll go down with me the night before. Thank you, Dar. I appreciate you, brother. Love you. He'll go down with me the night before. So if you want to go down, maybe we could do a show. We could do something live or something and find out if there's other people that are going to be doing it and kind of
work it out.
Yeah, see how many other people we can get. That's in a month-ish. It's in a month-ish, and that's actually the anniversary of the day that my uncle passed away. So that'll be fun. So I'm going to dedicate that to him. 5K. I think I run like a 9-minute mile. So 5K is what, 3.6, 32 minutes. I'm saying. 32 minutes. That's my goal. 32 minutes.
That's the goal you set.
Yes, 32 minutes, 19 seconds.
Wow. Pretty intense.
If I come in under that,
You're
cookies
happy.
on me.
You're happy.
Cookies on me.
You're happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean I'm buying cookies. I mean I'm going to grab some, crumble them. I'm just going to make them rain on myself. Cookies on me, and then finger snaps for everybody else. You know? But dude, the community. I mean, like we got to see if we can do something like that here. I know that we do the 4th of July 5K.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah, they do
Beach
the one for the
Drive
seal.
Pebble Beach Drive is one of the most amazing
Oh,
runs in the world. I'm assuming, and from my vision, you know.
we should do a
I mean,
gateway
it's like,
run.
it's. I mean,
Do
it's-
one that starts at like Point St. George and goes all the way down to Eggerts.
Yeah.
or not even
And-
necessarily. You
No,
can just
you-
go to the lighthouse.
Just end at the lighthouse.
Yeah, do a short one like that. That's a good little uphill downhill. You know what I mean?
What is that?
That's
Like 2 miles, maybe? We
maybe-
could do it back as
maybe
well.
maybe a little bit more. But I mean, still, that's perfect.
That's a beautiful run.
That's such a
Mhm.
beautiful run. I
Oh.
mean, and the road's brand new. You know,
Yeah.
it's all
Oh,
paved,
yes.
It's nice.
Thank you,
know.
Crescent City,
Yeah.
for fixing that road. I really appreciate
it. Really
it.
is. It's beautiful. You know?
It's a lot nicer for, you know, we have a lot of kids in town that ride their skateboards down that
Yeah.
hill, and not even just kids. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen like some elderly people out there on their things doing some stuff. So thank you for really putting some of our tax dollars to where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about our tax dollars for a second, behind the that place that we were playing disc golf at, the poop recycled place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even. It's,
And it goes out into our water. Now it did look better.
oh, it did.
But
But
there's
I believe
still-
that's from the rain.
Yeah, I want to say that. Yeah.
I want to say that, but you know, I could be
That's-
wrong.
but
They might
that
flush.
smell?
They might flush it every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
But there's
It's
that. There's still that oil film.
I know.
And how is this still okay?
Because it's probably only so many parts per million, so they're just like, oh, it's
But it's
all
an
good.
acceptable-
It's not gonna hurt that much.
It's
Oh,
an
it's
acceptable,
It's an acceptable level.
So we're gonna talk and complain about the ecosystem and all the stuff that's going to destroy our community and our water. But yet, when somebody points it out, it's the parts per million. I don't care how many parts per million.
Right,
If
no.
there's a film coming off of that, why?
Yeah.
We pay taxes to not have that. We have these EPA communities. We have these systems. Red lights. What are they there for then? And who's making money on the back end? I'm kind of curious now.
Well, have you seen the health report for Smith River from the lily fields?
Don't get me started.
It's like 78 pages. I have the PDF. I don't quote me on the 78 pages. It's somewhere up there, but horrifying.
Isn't there anything
People are going-
organic that can be done? Like,
Well,
but still, it's already too late in the soil,
you know,
right?
when someone has, well, yeah, but you know, we could plant certain, you know, plants there to remove those toxins and fix that, you know. But at the same time, why are we allowing that to go? You know, because that goes right into the Smith River. The Smith River is one of the most pristine rivers in all of the world, and it's pristine up until the point of the lily fields,
And
and that goes right into our ocean.
the
Yeah,
Chet-
it's at the
yeah,
mouth.
Yeah.
You know.
And the Chetco is one of the most beautiful rivers as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
We have so many beautiful rivers around here. Why do we want to ruin it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. What we were talking about last week about not being able to pick up trash at a national park.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is mind-boggling to me. You know.
Oh, thank you for helping me pick up trash at the disc golf too. That was great. And I'm like looking around. We don't want to walk all the way back over there. No, there's a trash can up here. Can we get more trash cans down at the disc golf course, please? There's the tide comes in and it comes up high, right? And it really just pushes trash and the ring of debris and stuff up. You know, and the sea
the
life.
tide's been coming up high too.
Oh,
lately.
yeah.
Ooh, really high.
It's been high.
Yeah.
It's been great. I mean, it's still beautiful down there. I
Yeah, you
love
see
it.
that beautiful crescent moon last night?
No.
Over the water? It was gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, the stars the other night were
Last night too.
just beyond bright.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We do live in a blessed area, don't we? This place is beautiful.
We're
It is
surrounded by
amazing.
giants.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yes.
I mean, could you imagine what this place looked like before, you know, like we came out here and cut everything down?
I can't
What-
even imagine.
What is your favorite thing about this community?
possibilities of the future.
Man, great answer. You were picking
So,
my brain.
You're only allowed one mic drop too. That's it.
So,
no, it's our show. You can have more. You can have more. No, that's
the potential.
Well, you know, and the thing
cow.
about it is
Thank you.
you know, how many people still hold on to that glimmer of hope for this area, you know, and I will say that, you know, I do notice that there are a lot of transplants out here, you know, but then there are also some people that do live out here that haven't been, and I hate to say corrupted, but, you know, corrupted by, you know, just the want to let things fall apart and just go by the wayside and, you know, well, let's just, you know, let's take the easy way because, you know, that's just easy, you know, like, I mean, granted, there are some instances where people really do need, you know, help and stuff, but, you know, how many people are just completely dependent on government subsidies and aid out here, you know, and it's, you know, and I'm the last person that's, you know, trying to say everyone needs to go out there and be working and, you know, because
find your passion, not your job.
Yeah, you know,
that's what it is. Find your passion, not your job.
You know, because okay, cool. If I could go to, you know, McDonald's and work 40 hours a week and, you know, be able to get, you know, a small apartment by myself, I'd be cool with that. I mean, it wouldn't be the happiest, but I could be more acceptable to that. But the fact that that is impossible, you know, and, you know, a family, both parents have to work, and, you know, if you're young and you aren't coming from a family of money and you don't have, you know, everything handed to you per se, it's difficult because you have to, you know, live with a bunch of people, and, you know, you know, like people, you will frown on the homelessness situation out here. Well, really, what options do they have? And once you get on aid, you're stuck there.
You know what? It's like when we're growing up, right? And our parents are telling us, get a job when you get older, go to college. And then you go to college, you live in a dorm life, right? So you have this dorm life, you have a couple of roommates, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to be an adult and have my own house. But then you become an adult, and you get your own house, but in order to make it, you have to have more roommates. So you really never graduate from high school or college. Right? You never do, right? Until you finally get married or you find that partner and you guys start building that life together. But then what happens if neither one of you together, like if the two of you together can't make it? Then what happens? Oh, you're back in another dorm with more roommates just to make it. Yeah. So when did that become the system and the, like, what the norm? Let's go with that. When did that become the norm of society?
We're a debt-based society, you know, because people make money off of our debt.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to even say they, but the system has been set up to keep us there because we're always chasing that carrot. We're always chasing that McMansion. We're told that we need Ferraris. We're told that, you know, like, we get offended by things that, if you really think about it, why are we offended by something? Like, are you actually offended by it, or are you offended by it because you're told to be offended by that? We hold on to these belief systems and these ideals that, granted, half the time don't even have any factual basis behind it.
Yeah. You know, that's why they're called theories.
Well, you know, but you know, the thing about it is it's even become to the point that scientific quote unquote fact is backed up by theories. So why are, you know what I mean?
Let's go with science for a second. I found a science question since we're talking about science.
Yay, science!
Captain Plank here.
So I saw this thing that said, and we were talking about alcohol, the drunk self is the real self. True or false?
False.
You know, that is a very gray area question. Because to me, you look at the name alcohol, and then you look at the Arabic name alcohol, which is, it's a spirit. It's an evil spirit, and it's meant. And think about how you use spirits in science. You know, ethanol. You use it to remove the essence of something.
We need to get one of those buzzers with a mic Just hit that.
And think about
That's
it.
crazy.
Think about it like this:
I
it's
didn't
called
even know that.
spirits for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why do they call liquor spirits?
So yes,
Because it brings in
it does.
alcohol.
Well, see, and the thing is, so but it's a mixed thing. So it really depends because yes, it does bring out your true self, but at the same time, it makes you highly susceptible to other influence.
Yes.
You know, so
It's kind of deep.
it's sort of one of those things where
It's kind of
you meet the happy drunk, and then you also meet the drunk that gets all angry and starts doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's
there's
multiple levels to that. I mean, if you use alcohol to remove the essence of plants, and we're complicated house plants, we're doing the same thing.
Well, it's all alchemy. When you get down to it, it's all alchemy.
For some reason, whenever I drink, my clothes change.
That's what you take.
Do they get smaller or hot or disappear?
You take potatoes or corn and you turn it into liquor. This is alchemy. This is when it gets to the true essence. Anytime you're taking something and separating it and refining other things from something, that's alchemy. When you break something apart and you take all the little parts of it, that's alchemy. Like a barrel of oil. How many different things do you make out of a barrel of oil?
Alchemist is the old-timey word for scientist.
I didn't know that one. I googled it.
But
I'm
if you
just kidding.
truly
No, I
look
didn't.
up the definition of alchemy, it's something different too.
Right.
It's like it's a very esoteric. It's a religion. Basically, what people would want to consider a religion, what they would try and put it in its own little category. They'd knock it over here with religion if they knew true alchemy, what it was. Most people would constitute it as something like that.
Well, alchemy is almost like a combination of religion and science. But the thing about it is we used to live in a world, from what we can tell, that was highly dominated by religion. And not saying that's good or bad, but then you look at today and we're dominated by science. Science is the new religion. Yeah. Well, this says this, and that's got to be right. We don't even question it anymore. And the thing about it is you can notice that these things are interconnected. And I'm not going to just say religion, but I'm going to just say, spiritualism. There's you look at the science behind what this world is made up of, and this solid table right here is 99% nothing. We just perceive it as solid. So there is a lot of stuff that we're still trying to figure out, and we won't even get into the theories behind particle accelerators and some of the stuff they're doing there. But you look at some of the tests that they've done, and they run the same tests and do the same exact thing, and they literally are saying that it's like someone's messing with them. They're like, it doesn't make sense. It's literally like someone's messing, like there's someone playing tricks on them. So, there's another element that, we're just missing. And, the beauty about it is life is about exploring and trying to figure this stuff out. And we're all here together to figure this stuff out and grow as people together. And we've been taught to just sort of isolate ourselves and, compartmentalize ourselves against each other, and the funny thing is what we're doing by doing this, not only are we doing a disservice to ourselves, but also we're doing this and we're standing behind these belief systems that have no basis in reality because we don't know the truth about any of them yet.
Well, it's not bad to be proud of who you are or what you are.
Right.
If you're
Definitely
proud
not.
to be a white man, be proud. If you're proud, be proud to be a black man. Be proud to be a Mexican or a woman. Whatever your race is, you should be proud to be who you are. You don't have to invoke your belief that you've been taught by culture and your environment to hate another person, because we're all created alike. So I feel like that's one step that people have to really get over in life, is like, let go.
Well, we can all agree that, like, I mean, we need certain things. I always say get back to the roots, and that can mean multiple things. But as a root, as a human, we need food,
Yeah.
Yep.
water, shelter. We need love in our life, and we also need purpose. We need, like a feeling of, like we're needed.
Yeah. Definitely.
And once we, like if we can just get everyone on the page that we all know that if we get that taken care of, right there, that's going to alleviate a lot of problems, and then once we get to that, then we can start to figure out, other things, because, we also realize that, okay, unjust laws, and so it's illegal to feed the homeless. Like, what? It's illegal to help someone and feed them.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
how can
ridiculous.
how can we allow that as a civilized society? You can't help out another human.
But they have these organizations that are down here handing out food to people that are on low wealth, on low income, or homeless, or whatever. They're the food pantry. They give out bags of food. That's okay. But as a normal citizen, you can't do it.
Yeah. No, you can't help your fellow neighbor.
That's I call shenanigans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey Farva.
Yeah. I was about to say a leader of cola.
Hey Farva. Yeah. And if it gets back to the roots, I had the really nice pleasure to have lunch with somebody, and to hear that in their eye, in their view, if you say something negative to your child, you need to say 3 positive things to not only counter that, but then you need to let that go. And why are we even speaking negative to our kids anyway? Right. But that is a great point. We get upset at our kid and we want to say, oh, you big-headed whatever. Well, now we need to reassure them that, hey, just because your head got stuck in a normal-sized helmet at 2 doesn't mean you... Sorry, Rob. Doesn't mean that... No, that really happened. Doesn't mean that we can keep bringing it up 11 years later. I do. But, we need to encourage our kids, not discourage our kids. So, that was really great to hear that there are other parents out there who have little children that are very much for, don't talk negative.
Yeah.
If you're going to be negative...
Well, and that's
I'm
another
100%
thing.
with that.
Right.
With the new baby, it's like...
He's almost off to college. You see how big he is? Holy moly!
Yeah, it's like,
man.
With the new baby, it's like the negative essence we are trying to like completely keep out, any kind of bad intentions.
Right.
Any of that, let alone, talking, profanity or, cursing, I try not to curse at all around the baby, and just things like that. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, random acts of kindness. You should do that with your kids every day if you have children. Give them, encourage them. Be there for them. My daughter just sent me a text message. She just got a tattoo with her best friend. Her best friend's mom actually died from suicide some years ago, and they got a semicolon tattoo.
You got your phone on you? Can we Google a couple of suicide hotline numbers?
Yeah.
Can we do that, please?
Yeah. So.
Well, and on the suicide thing, real quick. If the horrible thing about suicide, and I gotta say, I understand, this world's overwhelming. It's so painful. It's so filled with pain right now. And the thing is a lot of people are experiencing stuff like this, and a lot of people get really close to that. And the horrible thing about it is think about it. You can't feed a homeless person. We're being taught not to help people, and people are afraid to ask for help. So, a lot of, and the whole joking around, people joke around with people, and, give them a hard time. There's a time and place, yes, we can't be coddling everyone, because we gotta toughen up. We can't be,
right.
all the time. But at the same time, oh man, I lost where I was going with that.
You know, I have, when I was 4, my uncle did commit suicide. And so it's something that sits in your family, you know? And it took a long time for me to kind of accept the reasons why. And, you know, and I'm a child, and then I'm a teen, and I'm a young man. And it wasn't until I kind of experienced some of those losses and some of those experiences that you understand why people get so lost. People get lost. And it's hard for them to find their way back. And it's really hard for, you know, we don't want to ask directions. We get picked on or bullied because we ask directions. Well, what happens if we don't and we get lost? And then we can never be found. That's one of the hardest things, and to lose somebody or just to have something taken away from you. It's one of the hardest things. And I mean, I'm going to be 26 years old next month. And again, I like that age. You know, in these years, I finally really accept those things. So now I kind of feel like everything I can do, you know, losing Will was hard. That was really hard, especially with the poetry that he wrote and he shared. And so, and I am in talk with Ariel about being able to use a couple of pieces in an upcoming poetry book.
You know, the thing about that is it's just, you know, it's just really sad to think about it that, you know, I mean, I do understand sometimes the reason to want to check out. I do, you know. I mean, you look around, there's a lot of pain and suffering, and, you know, it seems very overwhelming. But at the same time, if we start to apply the mantra or the you know, everyday, I'm not going to worry too much. You know, take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. But I'm not going to worry about myself, and I'm not going to worry about the people around me. But I'm going to help the people around me. And if everyone applies that feeling, and that, then we won't feel so lost. Yeah. And the whole idea too is, you know, going on a journey is about getting lost, you know, but you don't want to feel lost and helpless. And being lost without being able to throw that lifeline out and be, you know, like, you know, imagine that feeling, you know, like we've become so dependent on these cell phones and stuff, but imagine having this black mirror, yes, I said it, black mirror in front of you, and not having anyone to reach out to, or you just don't feel comfortable, or like, you know, we've been taught to just put down people, and oh, it's joking, and then ha ha ha, it's funny. Well, when someone really asks you for help, and you know, man up. You know, and I'm not saying don't be, you know, like, you know, you gotta find the middle, you know, like we gotta be less extreme on things, because it's all about being too easy or too hard.
Right. Really quick, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255, and we're gonna get the one for the VA right now. Did you get that? 800-273-8255.
Yeah, love is life. Right?
Yeah.
Is that how we should look at it? You know, and that's maybe a lot of the problem is that we've lost that sense of camaraderie and community. You know, people don't feel like they can reach out, and you know, it's like.
Well, we're supposed to look towards,
and that's for veterans as well. That's
almighty government for all our help, instead of asking for help from our neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, even asking for help from our small town government. It's gotten to the point that, you know, no one even wants to go to a government meeting in their small town because no one listens. We can repeat it. There's a cross intersection right by Brother Jonathan Park, I believe it is.
Yes.
With no stop signs, next to a children's playground. How is this acceptable? No stop signs next to a okay, maybe that's why they don't fix the roads, because there's potholes and stuff, so you really can't drive that fast there. But still, no stop signs by a children's playground, going both directions. Like,
And maybe even a speed limit of 15 miles an hour.
you
Because it's once you come off the beach, it's only a block.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're going down the road, you're going to a stop sign. There's no reason to do 25, 35.
Mm-hmm.
Do 15. And this town is not that big.
You know,
This
I
town is
really
not that
think that,
big.
you know, we would be,
Let's bike places.
well, not only just bike, but, you know, let's make electric bikes. Let's make electric golf carts. Let's use those in the town instead of these gasoline vehicles because, well, you know, we pay $1 more in gas than they do up in Oregon. $1. Like $1.
You know how much beef jerky that could buy?
That's
I'm
a
just
lot
saying.
of beef jerky.
That's
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of Crown Royal for you, buddy.
We're gonna actually cut back on that this year. We really are. I got this. I want to do this trail and I want to do this run. I want to take it serious.
Cutting back on the sugar, that's good.
Yes. Yeah. I really need to. This life is about fun and doing something tomorrow.
Well, you don't want to.
You
You don't
know?
want to get old.
What are you talking about? Get old? I'm just getting better.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't want to get old.
Never. No.
Keep drinking all that liquor, you'll get old. Quick.
No. No. Daryl. So let's talk about the Super Bowl for a minute. I really want to say thank you to Inoteca. Courtney and Daryl, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Inoteca is one of those just restaurants for the family that I'll let you talk about that in a second. But it's one of those restaurants that you could take your family down there. You can have a really, really amazing meal. They're really
Amazing people.
Oh,
yeah. Daryl is 55 to 60 years old, and he looks as old as I do. And I asked him, I said, so what do you contribute this to? And he said, Jack Daniels. And I thought, that's amazing. And then the other day, I was in there talking to Courtney for a minute, and this nice gentleman comes in. His name is Bill. Bill, nice to see you. And Bill and I were talking, and I said, well, how old are you? And he's like, oh, I'm going to be 75 this year. You look the same age as Daryl. What do you contribute it to? And he said the same thing you always tell me. Thinking positive, doing the right thing, you know, like just living a good life, living a positive life. And he has an occasional drink, or you know, he does things, but so I really have to say I'm on the right path with this drinking thing. It's the moderation that people get out of.
You want moderation.
People get out of everything. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to eat a half gallon of ice cream and watch Spaceballs.
Great.
Right? That was like my Friday night because I didn't go up.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks. Oh, I love you. And I heard that they want to make Spaceballs too. Really, the search for more money? How amazing would this be?
That would be great.
And so, you know, that'd be great. But that was kind of my thing. And mint chip ice cream is one of my favorites. Now I eat like maybe a scoop and a half. So the moderation part has definitely caught up to me. And I do think that the older we get, the more we appreciate these things. But Inoteca, holy cow, thank you. So they had prime rib or tri-tip sandwiches.
Yeah, his tri-tip's amazing.
Courtney made some really amazing homemade potato salad that was scrumptious, and then there was beans. And I met this really nice guy named Shane who's left-handed, and he's a surfer. So I got his number. I'm gonna hit him up and learn how to surf.
Nice.
But you know, you go down to Inoteca. You know Courtney and Daryl.
Oh, they're amazing people.
Yeah,
Such
great.
amazing people. I've had such great conversations with them.
I feel
Yeah,
like all the restaurant owners around here are
Pretty much.
pretty cool people. You know, from my experience
Yeah.
thus far, you know, everyone seems to be like really down to earth, cool people, and I just feel like there's certain people in this area that have this like aura over the community, you know, and it's on its way up. You know, we just gotta keep pushing it forward.
Before the dawn, it always gets darker, right? And so like I do want to say that there's a light coming. I mean, you can't argue with that with the last few days and then the sunsets that we've had. And the sun peeking through them clouds. I have that one picture where the sun is literally looks like an eye. I will post it after the show, but it literally looks like an eye. And somebody's watching over this town. Somebody's watching over the souls in this community, because every community needs something. One of the coolest things about our community, I want to say, was like the secondhand stores and the what's St. Vincent de Paul. You know, that's another great store. In Missoula, Montana, they have this place called the Secret Seconds. It's a secondhand store. Secret Seconds, and all the proceeds go to Battered Women's Foundation.
Nice.
That was amazing. So
the crazy thing is, we have Battered Women Foundations. We have to have things like that. That's the crazy thing that you think about, right? Like, that people should really be thinking about. It's like, why are things like that still happening? Why do men feel like it's okay to put their hands on women? You know, it's like,
why does anyone feel that it's okay to put
their hands on anyone?
Exactly. Or any animal?
Why is it? Why I just don't understand that. It's like accepted. It's like accepted.
Well, think about it though. Like think about, like, here in America, what does a little boy want to do? You know, he wants to be a soldier or an astronaut.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of games do you play? Cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians. You're just ingrained into violence. Yeah. You know, but we're, you know, it's always put under the, you know, you're doing it for a good. Well, you know, what either side that you're on, the other people are the bad guys. So the bad guys, it's okay. Yeah, you know, like it's one of those things, is, you know, going back to the unjust laws, you know, like us sitting back and allowing stuff like this to happen makes us just as guilty as the people that are, you know, writing these laws in, just as guilty as, you know, if we were to be out there kicking the people. I mean, us allowing stuff like this to continue to happen, that's like, you know, seeing someone get beat up and pulling out your phone instead, or just walking away real quick because you don't want to be involved in that. You know, you see something bad happening, you know, stick up, say something, you know, and guess what? You know, I heard this the other day, and, you know, people are afraid to speak up because of, you know, the repercussions of saying something. Well, I'm going to let you know that it's dangerous to speak. No matter what you're gonna say, it's dangerous to say stuff. But it is even more dangerous to be quiet.
Right.
And allow stuff like that, you know, like that has far more danger.
Yeah,
you
way
know?
more repercussions.
Like,
right?
You know, like people always joke around about the, you know, and this is what I find real funny, the joking about 1984. And we got to be careful. You know, we're going to turn into, you know, 1980. We're already there. We're already there.
And why is it that the year 1984 is always so predominant? Why? Well, and let's go back to another country. Canada in 1984 finally signed it into law that it is against the law to beat your wife. They had to make it a law in 1984. Like it was that's
well, and why do we
no common sense
not to need these things to be written down for them to be like something that, like, we all have morals, and no matter how askewed some people's morals can get and are, we also have to realize that, you know, these are morals that are also being, you know, programmed into us. We're being told, you know, how to feel about certain things.
But there's that book, man. There's that Bible that tells you the 10 things, the 10 commandments, right? And there's the don't hit your whatever, and don't cheat, and don't steal, and don't. So that just means that the people that are kind of don't care. Certain people just don't care. Like, oh, I'm going to do this because the law says. It doesn't matter what this book says. The law says. There's no law about it.
And even if that book does say that, you know, I can go sit in a little room and say, hey, I'm sorry for doing this, and some priest on the other side goes, oh, don't worry, go to the bathroom, do some Hail Marys or whatever they're called, and you're fine.
You know, you are inherently knowing of good and bad.
Yes.
Your body as a being and is inherently, you know, blessed with knowing good or bad.
Yes, sir.
So as long as you live your life morally on your own standards, you know, which, I mean, and like Ben said, your view can be very askew because it's, you know, it's all perception, how we're perceiving it, right? So I can understand what's good to some is bad to others too, you know, but
Well, this
I feel
cup
like,
right now
I feel
looks
like, I feel
sort of
like
like an upright cylinder.
most people, I believe all people are born good.
Yes.
You
Sure.
know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? I believe all people are born good, and all the bad that is within people is learned, you know, and it's learned through, you know, culture and environment and.
Let's take that to animals really quick, right? So, both of you have pit bulls,
Yeah.
and your pit bulls are the nice. Your dogs have adopted me. Right? Is this not true or not?
Yeah,
Like
no, for
your dogs have adopted me, and Red even has kind of latched on to me.
Yeah,
sometimes
that's their cousin.
Right, that's my cousin. So, and the stigma around pit bulls are abusive and pit bulls are mean and pit bulls are no, they're not.
My face was ripped off by a pit bull when I was a kid. No joke. Like I had to go through facial reconstruction surgery. The dog's name, hilariously, was Satan. Yes. My cousin, yeah, my cousin's dog. You know, like, ask anyone in my family, like, yeah, my face was reconstructed.
But he still has a pit bull.
One of my favorite dogs. You know? Because the thing about it is, you know, how many people... There's fighting birds. There's fighting anything. Like, you were in the military.
Yeah.
Give someone a gun and tell them to go do some stuff, you know, and force it into their head, they'll go do it. You know, everyone inherently wants love and wants to feel a part of something.
Yep.
You know, why do we go to concerts? Why do we go to sports events?
Yep.
You know,
To watch the Patriots win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a Steeler fan. But you know, these
The Bears.
But these dogs that you guys have are amazing animals. The King Corso, she's just the biggest baby ever, you know. And I have a wolf Wisla and a pug, and wolves are majestic, Wislas are hunting, and she's the most majestic hunter I think I've ever seen. She's just prances when she gets her kill, and they're mainly rats, which is great. And the pug, well, he's blind and he's old and he looks like Yoda. and he's having a hard time jumping up the first step to get onto the bed. But you know, there's these animals that we bring into our lives and our families. It breaks my heart that I drive down the road or I see it on the internet and dogs are chained up outside. It's pouring. These dogs are chained up outside just to a tree.
Well, because people use them as accessories.
Yeah.
You know, like how can we allow people to keep like inbreeding these dogs and running these puppy mills and selling them for astronomical amounts of money when we have dogs that are being put to sleep, cats that are being put to sleep?
3.5 million dogs a year.
Like, why are we allowing? We have looked at animals and nature, just nature in general, as our profits. Something that we get to use as a profit. We have to we need a symbiosis with nature.
Do fire stations still adopt dogs or have dogs
Sure.
as
mascots?
mascots?
A lot of
I know when I lived in the city, like almost every
And this isn't San Francisco, the city. This is Chicago, the city. The windy city.
I know the.
No, I'm letting other people know because they're going. The city, San Francisco.
Well, you know, and the beautiful thing about both of those cities is they actually both used to be majestic, beautiful cities. That is a whole subject for another day, but you know, look into, you know, like, and even
Chicago is gorgeous right now. I'm sorry, with all the snow and the ice and it's a winter wonderland.
That drone video I showed you.
Holy cow, it is gorgeous. There's a drone video of Chicago. If you guys haven't seen this, what do you know? Just put
I did the Polar Vortex Chicago 2019 because we have one over there almost every year.
It's beautiful, so. And some oh man.
Yeah, it's frozen. It's frozen clear past Navy Pier, and the Chicago River is a block of ice, you know, and that's normally. I mean, there'd be like these iceberg-looking things, but it was never like that. And like every once in a while, like it would get so cold that, you know, inland towards some of the beaches, you know, like along the metal retaining walls or whatever, there'd be, you know, some ice there. But
You dudes
This
in boot
is-
camp,
yeah.
you guys in Great Lakes right now, I hope you're staying warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drop. I hope you're staying warm, and like you only have a couple more months of this.
I met
It's-
I met an old
It's
man
terrible.
yesterday. At the
Many blessings to you guys. Thank you for serving.
I met an old man at the ATM yesterday that served, and he was like, "Oh, it ain't that cold. I did duty in 65 below zero in Missouri." I said, "Okay."
You know,
Guess it ain't that cold.
That's cold.
the one that you don't really hear a lot about is
It's terrible.
everyone thinks MASH. You know, when they
Right.
think Korea War.
Yes.
But if you talk to some people that were over in Korea, it was
Iceberg.
freezing out there.
Yes.
Like one of my teachers in the automotive field, he said that all his tools they had to warm up before they even used because they would shatter
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you hear about Vietnam and them smoking the grass over there, but I've heard some even funnier stories about Korea, and the guard towers and stuff growing underneath. But
The coldest place I've ever been. Well, I've been to Scotland. Scotland gets cold, but I was in Bergen, Norway,
ooh,
and that was
That's
that
the
was
Arctic Circle.
that was chilly. that was brisk.
said by the
And-
fjords.
We landed and there was no snow. It was beautiful out, right? And we checked into the SAS Radisson. Holy Dave Kurz, do you remember this? So we checked in and we got to our room. We had dinner. The next morning we woke up and we looked outside and nope, there's like 7 feet of snow.
Wow.
Nope, the plane called and said, no, I don't think we're flying today. All right, sounds good. We'll be here.
Yeah.
So the first day and a half, like we didn't have to really work because it was too cold. And then we were out there trying to fumble because we dealt with electronic magnetrons and stuff like that, jammers. And so to deal with that, you have these tiny little screws, and it's really hard to do that when your fingertips are turning blue and you can't feel anything.
You can't feel nothing.
Nope, we're done. We'll be back at the Radisson. If you need us, that's where we'll be. And Scotland was just as cold. I mean, it gets
And moist.
Yes.
So it's even harder on like your joints.
Kinloss, Scotland. If anybody ever gets the chance to go to Kinloss, it's right. Oh, it's gorgeous. The Loch Ness is not far. It's like an hour and a half drive. You will see Nessie. You will, I promise. You will. You just have to believe. And we have these things, there's Bigfoot and Sasquatch. I do believe in them. We have to. There's too many other things.
I met a guy here in Crescent City that's seen Bigfoot twice.
Oh.
He's seen a baby one.
Up on French Hill, my buddy up
He
on
said-
French Hill, he has a casting that he had. Bigfoot went through his property.
He said he's seen a
You know?
baby one.
Well, the thing about it
Well,
is
that's dark.
you can look at what's it called, records from the Smithsonian that have been released turn of the between the 18 and 1900s because it would have messed with the I don't know education system that they want to teach us. They destroyed a ton of humanoid skeletons that were ranging from 6.5 feet to 11 feet. I mean, a lot of people see these old-timey pictures with these giant skeletons, and a lot of people instantly assume Photoshop. Yes, there's a lot of them that have been Photoshopped, but yes, that stuff is also very, very real.
So really quick, we're about to go to break, but when we come back, I have Isaiah got this book, and I was glancing through it, and with a lot of things that are going on in the world today, not just our small communities, but in the world, I came across this passage. So when we come back, I'm going to read it, and maybe we could talk about it for a few minutes. But Dar Caldwell, I have to give a shout out to him as well. Gateway Education, Dar Caldwell. There is a video. So coming up next week, Dar is going to be on the show, and I really can't wait. I mean, what a Lorax for the community. Oh my gosh. So hey, and we'll be back in I don't know, minute and a half, 5 minutes or so. About 5 minutes. So you guys enjoy this song, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back. Nice job, guys. Thank you.
That's good so far. far, right? No,
Oh, I know.
I'm saying that's good so
Oh,
far.
yeah.
Are off though.
Yeah,
You don't.
thanks, down. You wanna go?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining us. We'll be right back.
Life.
Is that out here?
What is life?
I got bros. I got bros.
Nah.
Okay. It wouldn't play the one I was going to.
What are you playing now?
Of like little ad thing and then Beatles. Why isn't it playing? Oh, because it's not on automate.
That's all right. Welcome back. We got a song for a second, but it's all right. You guys can tune in and join us.
We got 2 minutes.
And to my friend in Vegas, I'm really sorry I had to ignore your call, but we're in the middle of a show. I'll give you a call back about 6:15 or so. You know, that's one of the cool things about having a show and being able to reach out and touch people is that you're.
Why are you trying to touch people?
Because there's a heart that needs to be touched. Right. There's a shoulder that needs some support, some guidance, maybe just to be able to be heard.
You want a piece of gum?
I would love one, thank you.
You're welcome.
See, to be heard.
Random,
you never know.
Random acts of kindness.
And it's also probably telling me that my breast.
No, not at all.
we don't do that. We don't do that.
Well, if your breath stunk, I'd tell you not to give you a piece of gum. But your breath didn't stink. I just offered you a piece of gum because my breath probably stunk.
All right, 122. Okay, I think if I collect or hit the little check mark things next to it and press play, then it'll play without the automate part. Still trying to figure this exactly out.
But it played right after the commercial, right?
Well, because I pressed play on that, and then it played that, and then there was probably like 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds of nothing, and then this. Oh, I'm figuring it out.
Like I said, I am not an electrical engineer technician at all. So I'm just learning as I go too. So it's all right.
Yeah, we're making it happen. That's all that matters.
Living a dream.
Well, and then, it's not all just orchestrated perfectness, because the life and the world is not perfect. Therefore, we cannot expect everything to be these fancy little iPhone packages
The
that look
Black
all...
Mirror.
Well, it's like, look at these guys in Africa that are building planes out of junk.
Or those dudes that are digging hot tubs and like making it out of their own cement bricks that they're firing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I want to do that. I really do. I hope I get to do that after my 5 years.
Welcome back to DTL.
Oh, what a great break! And thank you for that song. I love that song.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
One of the cool things about the last year and a half of my life is really finding a passion for writing. And writing to me is one of the purest forms of expression. Whether it's poetry, a children's book, any form of writing. I have a journal as well. Some people want to call it a diary, but I do have one because a lot of the things that I think about and I process through, I really don't want to share with others. And so, and that's another issue with partnerships, is that we need to have that trust with our partner to not snoop into our personal thoughts. If we want to share, that's one thing. But we need to be able to have that space, that personalness. But so becoming an author and really being able to show people that you can just put out there your imagination. You have a story to tell. We all have a story. You asked me the other day, who's driving my bus?
Right.
Who's driving my bus? And it took me a minute to really ponder that question. Who's driving your bus? Is it society? Is it your parents? Is it our religion, our faith, our politics? What's really driving our bus? And so I started writing chapter 31 last night, and I had this thought process going on, and I had to stop writing. I just kind of had to. And then you show me this book. Can you show me this book really quick? Oh my gosh! So
yeah. Let's give a little back history on the author.
Okay, please. So this is Isaiah's book. Can you tell us a little bit about this for me, please, sir?
Yeah, it's the author Manly P. Hall. It's called The Assignment. I'm sorry, excuse me. America's Assignment with Destiny. And what it is, or just to give you a little backstory on Manly P. Hall, he's he created the American Philosophical Society here in California. And they actually have a university now that it gives accredited master's programs for. And they give 2 different MAs, one in theology and philosophy and theologian philosophy, I guess you would call it. And then there's one about transmutation philosophy. And it's pretty intense stuff, but what he did was create this society to basically give all the knowledge that was ever told and held by man.
For our reader or our listeners that aren't watching on YouTube or Facebook, if you can Google the cover of this, America's Assignment with Destiny, and look at the artwork. Just the artwork at the top of that
what that represents is the light of the pure angel on the one side, right?
Yeah.
Of the good, and then on the other side, that's the fallen.
Wow.
And you see that across the top of the earth is the wings with the all-seeing eye.
So when you picked me up today before the show, you handed this to me, and You said just kind of read the foreword, right?
Yeah.
Holy moly! All right, so I didn't even get through the whole entire foreword. I got stopped. Right?
Second page.
The second page. It's actually page 6, but I got stopped the second page because with everything going on today's society, what I have learned, accepted, and am now kind of following, this really touched me. So let me read it to you really quick. Not so long ago, 90% of the population of the earth was in physical slavery. Having liberated his body, the audacious creature must now free his heart and mind. Thus, pressed on by a sovereign necessity, the world conqueror becomes the self-conqueror. Under a democratic concept of living, the responsibilities for process pass to the keeping of the people. The keeping of the people. That's a big one that we really need to remember, right? Because this is our society, this is our world, right? The powers vested in the governing body functioning with the consent of the governed include not only provisions for collective security, but also the advancement of such religions, philosophies, arts, and sciences as contribute to the essential growth of human character. That's really deep. An administrative system which ignores ethics. Let me repeat this one really quick. An administrative system which ignores ethics, culture, and morality cannot survive as a dominant political organism. So let's think back 4,000 years and go forward from there every 250 to 400 years, and every monarchy that has risen and fallen, and we're in year 242, 243. Democratic institutions must accept the task for which they were fashioned and become the conscious custodians of the democratic destiny. I have my first mic drop. This is incredible. This is probably one of the most incredible things I've read. And as an author, I can do nothing but want to research more.
Right.
Because if somebody wrote this, 60, 80 years ago?
Yeah. This is the second copying, and this was in 1951. The actual first script was written in 1932, I believe.
So, okay. So to know that somebody knows that society is going to keep repeating itself.
Well, let's also touch on the point that Manly P. Hall was a 33rd degree Freemason. So these are keepers of the secret, right? But
yeah, whether you look at a Disney cartoon that has Mason stuff in it, Looney Tunes that has Mason stuff in it, 2001: A Space Odyssey is literally about the Masonic journey. So everything in our society is based on Masonic law.
Yeah, so once you realize that every city in America, the Masons are there before the city is made. Mm-hmm. They govern how cities are made.
Well, but reading this, it got me to today, our politics today, right? And our government.
That's what he's telling you, that the great work, if you read on in the book, he talks of the great work. And the great work is the overall plan, And what it is this country was founded as a republic, not as a democracy. And the morals and ethics in our Constitution were of a higher consciousness, but man could not follow their own word, So therefore, we fall under this democratic rule that we give ourselves to the government, We have relinquished our rights. Why do we live in a society where our rights don't work for us?
Well, wait, but we have rights, but we have to ask for those rights and
that's
get a
not
license.
Right, then.
Exactly.
That's not right.
That's it.
Oh, but we have freedoms, but we have to ask for those freedoms.
Dad, can I go
pay
out?
For them.
You have the right to go out. Oh, sweet. Yeah, be back at 10. Oh, What do you mean be back at 10? I pay rent. I don't care if you're 31 years old. You live under my roof. You know what? I'm leaving. Good, do the dishes first.
Okay.
Okay. But then after that, I'm really leaving. Well, all right. See you at 10. All right.
But yeah, what he speaks on is truth. You know, he's speaking on truth in that forward there. And what he's saying is that if we're gonna live in a democracy, why can't the democracy at least step up and do what it's designed to do? You know, why does it have to be that if we're living in a democracy, we still have to fight and pry and dig and, you know what I mean? These ethics were designed in order to not only quote unquote help the people, but also, you know, put people in order, you know, and if that indoctrine is something that people accept, they should at least take the initiative to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I've asked a couple of people who they're voting for this year because the voice for the people has been like a huge thing for me, especially in the last, I don't know, like 5 years. And Andrew Yang has been the big voice that people that I've been talking to is the one. And there's nothing against Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac.
He's a Chicago legend.
He is, and he's not running. I bet he would win.
He's deceased. All right.
He would win.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac would win.
To the Mac family.
So yes, I would vote for him, even no matter what. But the Bernie Sanders, I guess, I don't know.
That's a socialist way of thinking. I mean, Bernie Sanders has a platform built on what I myself, you know, this is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You know, don't you know, quote me on anything or whatever.
No, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get you outside right now.
Yeah. I believe that's a socialist platform, you know, and that's what the Democrats in my lifetime have been working towards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these people, this cabal of people, have been working towards a social,
and
communism.
the thing about it
whatever you wanna
is.
call it.
Right.
Is, you know, on paper, or, you know, and you know, like, you could spin socialism to look very good,
Yeah.
you know, because the socialism, like, and the only points that they really, you know, touch on is, oh, you get free health care and, you know, stuff like that, and you, but the thing
Subsidized
about it
housing,
is,
right, you know.
Yeah.
is stuff like this is stuff that we shouldn't be paying for, period. This is just stuff that we should be having. You know, and what socialism has the inherent danger of turning into is more of a I can't say that word.
Totalitarian.
Thank you.
Ruby
Because
Vanderbitter.
we turn into, we're dependent on them
Right.
for everything, you know,
Yeah.
and that goes back into the whole, like, you know, I don't expect my mom to do my laundry and do my dishes still, you know, like, I would love a home cooked meal by mom, and when I go to visit her, I can't wait to eat her cooking, but at the same time, I don't expect people to clean up my messes and take care of all
Right.
the stuff, you know. We should get help, but that shouldn't be something that, you know, is, yes, I don't feel that, you know, we need this whole, you know, I go back into the insanity thing. Like, why do we think that voting someone differently in is going to change anything? We got to change the whole way the system works in order to change it. You know, just voting someone in and writing more legislation over more legislation. I mean, half the laws that are out there, we don't even know what they are.
And that's one of the big things is for the longest time, I wouldn't vote and I wouldn't register to vote, and I still haven't. But because I was always under the conception that it's never going to change. Never going to change. Then being, you know, the life that I've lived the last 15, 20 years, it's not going to change unless somebody makes it change.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wants to watch, you know, if it's easy, we're going to do everything we can to make it easy. Especially if it's easy wrong. Because as soon as somebody says, wait a minute, we're taught not to do this. Right? So why is it that we're taught not to do this in training, but yet once we get out here, oh, this is the thing that we do because it's the easiest way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's the path of least resistance. I mean, we are inherently lazy, and we've been given the tools to make us even lazier. Good old fashioned work goes a long way.
Yes. Yes, it does.
And that's why I have this on me.
Sink and swim.
You have two options in life. You can sink or you can swim. What are you gonna do? And
you can only doggy paddle for so long.
And the thing about it is you go the easy way. Stuff that's handed to you, like it's sort of like let's look at like a musician or something. I've gone to so many bars and seen so many great musicians that they don't go on tour because they aren't big, they aren't signed, and it's some of the most amazing music I have ever heard in my life.
Yep.
Even some of the cover bands, they're even better than the actual bands. But then, why do we get these people that don't write any of their own music? All they are is a pretty face.
Singing somebody else's lyrics.
Someone else's lyrics about some horrific stuff. If you start to listen to some of this pop music today, and I don't want to just go on like, oh, I'm too old and I don't understand it anymore, but no, look at the lyrics. And we have little children running around singing stuff about,
And that is sad. That is sad. I live right down the street from Crescent Oak.
Me too.
And the amount of children...
We're neighbors.
We are. I love you. The amount of children, 13 and under, that walk to school with their headphones in singing the garbage.
Oh.
That I as a grown person, have a problem singing.
I'll be working at the kids' garden and doing stuff over there, and kids just walking by there, leaving that every other word's a swear. And everybody knows that I have a pretty dirty mouth, but like, wow.
What are you talking about? YouTube orbits?
Yeah, dirty clean. But it's just there's this. I'll give a band a shout out because I really dig what they do. Scott Bradley's Postmodern Jukebox.
Oh.
And they did something with Puddles the Clown. That creepy dude that dresses up like a clown from the Great Depression or something, and he's like, he would make me feel tiny. He's huge, but he's got one of the most angelic voices I've ever heard. And there's this other girl that did one.
Does he play the ukulele?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
I think I know what you're talking about.
But dude, they take all these, like, they're one of the ones that caught me was Creep. They redid Creep. And
from TLC?
No. Like, I'm a creep.
Yeah.
I forget who does it.
Who does that track?
But any which way, look it up. Scott Bradley's Postmodern Jukebox. But they basically like turn it all into like 1920s, 1930s music.
Wow.
So then you hear
That's
these
cool.
pop songs, and the lyrics don't. You know what I mean? It's the same lyrics, but it's just slowed down so you actually understand what they're saying, and you're like. The songs take on completely different meanings. I mean, it's like this that song about the Columbine shooting. My pumped up snake kicks. Like that sounds all happy, and that's literally all about the Columbine shooting. Because I want to say one of the guys in the band was actually a student there.
Wow. But
I mean. You put these things in front of people under false pretenses. It's still what it really is. It's like it's like processed sugar. We all know how bad that is. Oh, it can be so delicious.
Processed sugar.
I mean, you look at the way. Yeah, well, you look at the way it affects your brain, and it affects your brain the same way as hard drugs. And then you see the pictures of babies trying sugar for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, that looks hilarious." It's like you literally just gave your kid crack.
Even worse, because I think it kills more people than crack by tenfold.
Well, because it leads to diabetes and the diabetes.
The Homer, the Simpsons episode, right, where Homer goes in and he's having the test done, the weight test done, and he puts his arms up and the doctor hits his stomach and it just bloop, 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 bloop,
makes a donut.
It's just this wave going around, and Homer's like, woohoo, look at that blubber fly, and the doctor's like, counts my 2 o'clock. There's this stigma. And then he's wanting ice cream, but he'll only eat Neapolitan ice cream. But he only eats the chocolate out of the Neapolitan ice cream. There's like 6 or 8 half gallons in there, and he's like, oh, ice cream, like chocolate. And that's the society today. And let's look at the amount of sugar aisles in the grocery store, as opposed to the nutritious aisles.
Yeah.
And let's wonder why it is that we are the way we are.
Well, and my favorite thing too is okay, nutrition aisles are starting to become bigger.
We're still a mono society.
What we're thinking.
I still refuse
nutrition.
to eat organic or gluten-free.
Well,
that's just unnatural.
The whole organic thing. Organic is a good thing, but the organic stamp that you see in a store isn't real.
You know what's funny though? I saw these tomatoes really quick. I saw these tomatoes that said organic limited edition tomatoes. Limited edition tomatoes.
I mean, they do go bad and rot.
So isn't it pretty much everything is a limited edition if you buy it at a store and you plan on eating it? Because it's limited to how long it takes for me to eat that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then on that term, when I was on my trip last summer in Blanding, Utah, I saw this sign that said free self-guided tours.
Mm-hmm.
Free self-guided tours.
Oh,
I'm glad I don't have to pay to show myself around.
There's a trail off the 199, the botanical trail, and it says interpretive trail. I want to know what that's all about. What is an interpretive hiking trail? Because I'm pretty sure that just means like you're trouncing through like wherever you want to go. Or do you like get
Let's
to
go
dance?
check it out.
Have you
when it's warmer?
The botanical trail on the 199?
Not yet.
It's just a loop basically. You walk up in, and it makes this loop around by kind of a slough like water area that has all those carnivorous plants. What are they called?
Oh, belladonnas.
Belladonnas.
Yeah,
it has
I like
a bunch
the
of those in there.
Yeah.
Or Darlingtonias. Yeah,
Darlingtonias.
belladonnas is poisonous
The
plant.
Darlingtonias. Yeah, those are pretty.
Darlingtonias.
I like those.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what they are.
I like those.
And those are only grow here. That's one of those species that is only found here.
We should go check out that trail when it's warmer.
I mean, literally though, it's
When it's warmer.
Yeah,
like
I bet
a
you it's a
2-minute
bit
walk.
chilly up
Is
there.
it's like a 2 to 5 minute walk.
So maybe we could blindfold and fox walk through that. If nobody ever heard of fox walking, you take your shoes off and you use you close your eyes and you use your senses to walk along the ground, right? And we teach that in Gateway Education. It's one of my favorite things is we practice being ninjas, and then we play this game called Steal the Fire, where you're trying to steal the keys from in front of a fire giant. And that's so much fun, especially some of the places we get when you try to do it in the water. Have you done it in the water yet?
What?
Played Steal the Fire in the water?
No.
No, that's Matt taught us that. And that's crazy. Matt
I could see it being crazy if it came from that point. That's excellent. I like it.
Matt is pretty nuts. But he's
a freak of nature.
Oh,
we need more people like that.
We do.
Because the thing is we fail to realize that, okay, we are very smart animals, but we're animals. Animals come from nature. And as much as we want to deny the fact that we're part of this nature and we have to be nice to this nature, the more we push away from it, the more it's going to push back at us.
Yep.
I mean, sort of look at what's going on around the world right now. It's not too nice of weather, and we decide to keep drilling for all these resources that we don't need. And
so last weekend we had the country come together. Right, we had the nation come together. This was one of my favorite.
Did we do something amazing and good for the country?
I want to say a lot of people will think so.
What did we do?
I had tri-tip and some potato salad and a couple of beers down at Inoteca, right? This raspberry cider kind of thing. Met some really neat people. I saw some old people that I haven't seen in a while. And then I watched this pathetic score of a fun game. So what is the Super Bowl? What is this? This is every year we get together.
The majestic owl?
The
superb owl? Oh, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, right?
Oh, okay.
So every year we get together 180 million people sit around and they watch this game for the commercials. This year it was about the commercials because the game was kind of garbage.
I did catch one of those commercials. Yeah.
Endgame? Did you watch that one?
No, it
I
was
can't
one
wait.
about like AI or Alexa or whatever you want to call it.
Alita.
I thought it was Siri. I don't know, but those talking
sure it was
things,
Alexa.
those
Pretty
talking
sure it was
things in the boxes. Well, any which way, they were turning the lights on and off on us, like the whole world. It's pretty crazy. Did you see that?
I think I did see that commercial. That is terrible. So Terminator 2 brought to you by
Amazon.
by Alexa.
Brought to you by Skynet.
That is terrible.
There is Skynet, you know this.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
That's a real
www.skynet.
Yeah. www.skynet.
So really quick, if anybody needs voices, anybody in Hollywood, or if you're a performing artist, if you need backup vocals, I do just about any voice that anybody can know, like impersonating anybody. So we can throw that on there. You got one?
I got one voice I could probably do.
Who do you do?
I do Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Is it about the rain?
Miley Precious.
Dude, then your face. That's terrible. Your face. I'm gonna have to like do a seance before I go to sleep tonight. That was amazing.
Yeah, creepy.
Oh yes, it was amazing. I love voices though. Like, you know, we get carried away. But this game we had last week, speaking of voices, what was the voice that was heard? It was all about sports. There was nothing about the country other than dividing us once again on whether you're going to go for the Patriots or not the Patriots or the other team. And I wonder what's going to be served at that big building in the capital of the country. I wonder what's going to be served for those champions. I hope it's Taco Bell.
Restaurant
or
of
pancakes.
the future.
IHOP. Oh yeah, Taco Bell, right? The restaurant of the future.
I mean, let's hope
Taco Bell.
it's not hot dogs and pizza again like Obama did.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I hope it's IHOP. I love IHOP.
I
haven't been there in years, and I really don't like pancakes.
A few of my friends will definitely remember these days, but
Waffle House guy.
around 2000, 2002, the IHOP in Hoffman Estates, right off of 90, right by my buddy's apartment, was like the cool down spot after we used to go to raves. So we'd go there at like 5, 6 in the morning, try to eat pancakes, drink our coffee, stare at our food, stare out the window, and then go home and play with Legos.
Play one with Legos.
We made a what's it called? Sears Tower. It's like this big. Yes, Sears Tower, not Willis Tower. Yeah, this big. And Sears and Roebuck apparently is no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like completely officially, like they're done.
Completely. And
Toys R Us is gone too.
Can you just fathom this? In the 50s, in the Sears and Roebuck catalog, you could buy a house.
Yeah.
You know?
My grandpa's got a Sears and Roebuck 22.
Yeah, you could get
anything
from Sears and Roebuck.
Out of a catalog.
These people,
that was the original Amazon.
Yeah, that was they had it sewed up.
Can we bring back the 50s for a minute?
Well,
just for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like a decade.
So my dad was, like the 50s generation. Like he was born in the 50s. He when he was young, him and his sister, my grandparents brought him to the World's Fair. 64 in New York. Don't get me into all the stuff that could be going on with all that. But we think about it, and they did Tomorrow World then. And, everyone was told, we'd have, jet cars and jet packs and, House of the Future and blah, 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 and things would be nice. And where'd all that go?
Where's the inspiration now?
We're getting,
What is inspiring our kids?
TikTok. Snapchat,
It should be
Facebook.
parents, right?
Do you remember it should be. It should be. Do you remember the movie Toys with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I
right,
brought that up the other day, and no
So-
one. But one was like, dude, I've never
Look
seen
how
that.
excited we're getting too, right?
Okay, when I was younger, I remember just being like, dude, this is crazy. Video games that are controlling freaking jets that are bombing stuff, and these kids think they're video games. Now, did you see the newest British Army thing?
No.
Oh, dude, literally calling for video game people to fly drones. They look for that. The Army's got a shoot 'em up game that you can play for free in the PlayStation Store, dude.
So how many of those Call of Duty things and the ZR47 one that you have online and Fortnite, all these games that are teaching these kids teaching people how to run around in first player. What's going to happen? What's seriously going to happen when they are plugging in and they're playing, but there's a robot, right? So, and they don't even realize it, but there's a robot over there that's fighting a war in a thing, and it's this one image.
That's what we have to realize is that all those video games, all those
Are we a year away from that?
all those first-person shooters, all that stuff is military surplus programs. Those were all military surplus. That's what that is. Those things were all designed by the military. You know,
It is good hand-eye coordination.
As training programs, those are all training simulations for the military.
Despite the fact of whether or not video games can be good and bad, because I do think there is a place, and I play video games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I do too. I do too. I play a lot of
Well,
it.
but the one thing that I will say that I have found as of recently, and it's sort of difficult, and this doesn't just play for just video games, but also movies. So sound effects. Now, a lot of people don't really think about where their sound effects come into play or what they are. Now, we've all seen the movie Aliens, right?
Yes.
Okay, you know that scary noise that the alien makes, that high-pitched?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
No. Coffee pot?
No, that is the sound of when they castrate male pigs, because we don't give them any painkillers or anything. They went in there and recorded that. And that's what you're hearing in the movies. We are making money off of the pain and suffering of stuff. And since we play into this, we're just as guilty as the parties doing it. The fact that a kid thinks that their meat comes in a pack. I had this girl come into this restaurant I worked at, and she asked us how we make the chicken tenders. And I told her, we start with the chicken breast, we rip the chicken breast off the meat, and then and she's like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Wait, so you're telling me that you're completely cool with eating this animal, but okay, I'm not going to say that everyone has to go out there and butcher their own animal, okay? But at least, know the process, understand what goes into, because the thing is there's been scientific tests. You take those electrodes and hook them up to a plant that you can hook up to, our brains. Mm-hmm. Plants have feelings just like us.
Yes, they do.
So does water.
Yes, it does.
So if you
if
you think about that, this whole veganism thing about, I'm not killing anything. If you're eating something that's alive, you're killing it.
Another reason why I'm a huge supporter of bacon. Huge supporter of bacon.
Chocolate covered.
Chocolate covered bacon. Let's add some asparagus to that too. Why not? I don't.
Bacon wrapped asparagus is good.
Dipped in chocolate.
I definitely know that's one way you can get people to eat just about anything. Is add some bacon
and chocolate
and avocado.
And as long as it's
50 cents more.
And if you want to put cheese on it, it's an extra 80 cents.
That's going to be extra.
Yes, it's an extra 80 cents.
Just put the avocado on it.
Please and thank you.
It's any way you want it, but here we go. But this Super Bowl last weekend, why is it that, again, I did a little video on Super Bowl Sunday about why is it that we don't put the effort into voting for our country, but we put all this effort into the Super Bowl. Well, why don't we have sponsors?
How much
for
money
whatever
was made or transact on just commercials alone? How much money was spent to do this?
And what if
that stadium was just built?
And not only so, our country means what? What? I'm sorry. I'm really getting away from I love playing sports, but I'm getting away from professional sports. Just because I'm watching the fact that our country is not taking pride in itself. We're taking pride in logos.
False idols.
We're
False
taking
idols.
right, and then now where's the inspiration? We're not inspiring our kids to have a voice for the people. We're having a voice for a logo, and then I have this thing. So how can I be wrong if we believe in the same thing, but we call it a different name? Right. So whether it's religious, whether it's political, one of my big things. Let's go with Canada and us. We have a beanie. Canada has a toque. It's the same thing, but it's just a different name for it. My friend and I argued over what it was really called. No, it's a beanie. No, it's a toque. Well, guess what? You're Canadian and you're wrong. So
it's like car people. Oh, domestic. Oh, import. You both like making cars go fast. Enjoy that factor. Like I always give it. I love it because I dislike NASCAR so much. I dislike it so much.
We're making another left turn.
But I super respect what they do because that car is super hot. That takes a lot of endurance to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's not my spiel.
We're gonna go straight.
But I still, I would never want to see, I don't want to see NASCAR go down, like it's like organized sports. Like the whole idea behind sports can be great. But the idea of organized sports is like the idea of organized religion to me.
Well, you have to look at pro sports as that they're licensed as entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not licensed as sports. As a sporting club.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Well, and it's
those are corporations
too.
I just wish that we could get
that's all,
together.
That's all corporate. And I used to love sports, but once I seen that strike in baseball, that first strike, and I seen what it was about, you know what I mean? And they were the first ones to strike, and now they get paid the most money.
Well, it's
You
like
know
I
what I'm
love,
saying? It's like,
well, that's why I love, I love that for one. I love, and I still I think it's incredible the technology there and what those cars can do. But at the same time, it's you're driving a fighter jet that's instead of making you fly, it's pushing you to the ground.
yeah, exactly.
But the thing about it is, it's all politics, and it's all about selling. And honestly, I also truly believe that anything that's moving a ton of money is also about moving a bunch of illegal funds as well. Because let's face it, a lot of our politicians have all been caught up in some really bad things. These drug dealers. Let's blame these ghetto people on selling drugs. When our government was the one bringing it in, this Operation Fast and the Furious.
And it's no secret, people.
We're gonna arm the Mexican cartels with U.S. military hardware so we can trace the serial numbers to see where it goes. Yeah. Some of those same weapons ended up in that Paris attack. It's like, why do we pave our streets with asphalt? Have you ever literally heard what the reason behind that is? Because we all know it falls apart and gets potholes. It's job security.
Yeah.
It's literal. They do it for job security, so they can keep people working.
They have to use all the money in the budget every year in order to get at least the same amount of money.
Well, on C Street, I'm sure we could use some pothole filler over there.
Gosh.
That's terrible. Crescent City, C Street. Just letting you know.
Well, I mean, think about it, man.
All the way down.
Domino's going around filling potholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got corporations doing stuff that our government should be doing, and that's gonna sound really weird because it's like, wow, what corporation's doing? Real quick, let me rephrase that. Something good for once,
I like it.
And I think it's amazing. I think, if these corporations are people and we're going to treat them as people, because that's the laws are written out to treat them as people. They get bailouts and stuff like that.
So you did remember earlier in the show you said that that they made it a law that you couldn't feed the homeless, right? Mm-hmm. Mark Wahlberg, did you see this? Brought in somebody into his restaurant. This homeless dude brought him in to keep him warm and fed him, and didn't make him pay, right? So thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.
You know, we still hold these people. Look, this is what's kind of messed up to me is you're giving this guy a high five because he let one dude come into his restaurant and you feed him. But this dude he's worth millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
True. Well, and why did it's like this? If I were to go out and I were to go, you know, feed the homeless or do anything positive, and I have someone take pictures of me doing it so I can go show people, I'm not doing that for the right reason. No. So when these people are going out for their photo ops of I'm Mr. Philanthropist or I'm Mrs. Philanthropist, I can't say it. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was in speech therapy for years. I used to say Ferrari.
And you're excited.
and you're amazing.
But you know the thing about it is it's just it's like, how do you hide something? You hide in plain sight. You know, like So the thing about it is if you have someone out there that is overly trying to be good, and I know that sounds weird, but you know, they are weird about it, and they make sure that everyone knows, and they're making a big ordeal about it. It's not being done in the right way, and you must ask yourself, why would someone try to make you think so much that they're good? Because they're afraid of finding out some of the other stuff.
In this huge restaurant that he owns, right? One person. Why wasn't the whole restaurant filled? Right? I mean, one person.
Really,
and the whole restaurant's not filled?
I find it like...
And he was the only person you saw in the picture. What's this one dude?
We hold these people up that have millions and millions of dollars. We hold them up like idols, you know, and we like, you know, hold such high regard for these people. And I understand they work for their money and all this, but it's like, how much do you really need? You know?
Let's say you make $5 million a movie.
What's his
Chow Yun Fat?
Chow Yun Fat.
Well, let's say you make $5 million a movie.
Yeah.
You make $5 million a movie. You have a net worth of $80 million at this point. You could give away $75 million, still have $5 million as backup, and you know you're going to get another movie soon. Like, if someone were to give me $1,000 right now, I would be able to start so many little mini projects that just would expand so exponentially that, I mean, I would be doing backflips.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy if someone gives me $10. So, you know, and when you start to think about money, you know, it's like what I was saying the other day. $1 million versus $1 billion is a number that I understand. No, you really
it's
don't.
1,000 million. It's 1,000 million.
It's such a large difference that you can't. So as a billionaire, now I understand needing to be busy and needing to, you know, stay active or whatever. Why are you as a billionaire still out there trying to make money?
Right.
Much less, you aren't trying to make money to do something with that money to do good. You're trying to make money so you can make more money.
Yeah.
Well,
that's sickness if I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I actually met this guy who's the head. He's like the CEO for it's a company called the Bohemian Companies, and he actually like is the officer for the trust for this lady in Colorado Springs, and she's literally like worth billions, you know, and what they do is just complete philanthropy. You know, they give away money every single year. Like that's what they do. They fund these amazing programs. Like,
Thank you.
And I met him. I was flying from Chicago back to here, and I sat in first class with this guy, and we rapped. And I mean, he was on his way home from doing a TED Talks in Nice, France, about this cure for children's diabetes. You know, they had just donated $500 million to this foundation, and he wanted to, you know, he went to France to basically see it hands on where the money was going. You know what I'm saying, and see what the research was, and then he gave this like hour-long TED Talk on the medicine they were like.
Well, and that's the one thing that we always have to remember as well is
there are good people.
We're so like it's like the whole government thing. You know, like yes, I say that we would be insane to keep voting people into this government because it's not going to change. I am not saying that there aren't people that don't have good that we could vote into it,
No,
but
for sure.
the institution itself has to be restructured for it to work properly.
100%.
But we, our belief systems, even on, like, because I know I'm on sometimes, one side of the spectrum on, certain views per se, but we must realize that there, like you said, people are inherently good. So there is good in a lot of these bad organizations and stuff. But the thing about it is also, until we address the roots, and with the roots, the money becomes less important
Right.
to people. The problem right now is money is everything to everybody. And power corrupts, yes. But what corrupts even faster than power is money. Because people are willing to sell out for money.
Yep.
Well, I was told by a wizard once. I'll mention no names, but he told me that every dollar bill, that's why it's so powerful of a talisman, is because no matter rich, poor, white,
Mhm.
black, any creed, race, or color, anywhere around the world, that's why American currency is taken. And anybody can hold up a $1 bill.
Mm-hmm.
So the power is held within that $1 bill.
Look at all the
And when
symbolism on
when
it.
it's the evil behind the dollar bill is that you'll take it in your hand and you think about it in your mind. So you hold the mark in your hand and on your head. So the power within the dollar is a very structured.
Right.
And if you can look past what you feel like and actually see what that represents, you know what I'm saying, what the dollar bill actually represents is I encourage everyone to look into what I'm talking about.
Well, I find it funny that you said mark, and Germans refer to there as Deutschmarks,
Exactly.
marks, and then German is basically Sanskrit.
Yeah, it
my
is.
Namen
It's
or
all
meine Namen.
it's close, so close to Hebrew as well.
Yeah.
It's like they're very intertwined.
Now, I'm not to brag, but I did take German in high school for 2.5 years. I slept 2 years of it.
Well,
so I know nothing,
yeah, we
literally. And then I went to Germany for 3 weeks.
I encourage everyone to look into the bill, and if you think about it in the words that I just put, the way I put it there, it's you hold it in your hand, so and you're always thinking about it because that's what you need. So they got you hooked right there, line and sinker.
Do we? I know that we need money for certain things, to survive, pay our bills. But other than that, what do we really need money for? Because the more we have, it's like we're kind of flaunting it.
Yeah. And it's been we've been structured out of a real way to live amongst each other.
Right. So
when they started breaking the homes up, and they started separating, and they used that against the people, so they had to give you something, you know what I'm saying, to bring forth what.
Well,
That
I watch a
kind of-
lot of YouTube, and that's about the only place I ever see commercials anymore. Because I can't tell you the last time I watched TV. And I guess my TV would be like this weird thing called TV Plus or something. And I don't know, it's on some video game channel. And I don't even watch that. It's just so there's not a black screen when my thing comes on.
I don't have cable either. There's really no point for
Well,
it.
I saw a Louis Vuitton commercial, and I find it funny that it was some rap dude, or I don't even know who it was, but just acting all weird, drinking champagne or something, and it was just like, why are these ultra luxury brands that used to be sought after by the rich now being portrayed as something cool that rappers or Hollywood people do, and it's so instead of us wanting to be a soldier or something like that, now we want to be You know, and not saying that this didn't exist when I was a kid, because yeah, I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to be all sorts of things. You know, I was gonna be everything. You know, I was gonna live on the top of a skyscraper, but I was also gonna have a farm with horses and a ton of dogs. You know,
That's on the 3rd floor.
That's all 13 floors down. You know? But you know, it's just so now we just want, you know, this famous. We want to be famous, and we want to do this, and we want likes. And you look at these new shows on, you know, Netflix and stuff. And not saying that some of them aren't good, because you know there are some newer stuff that is coming out that is intriguing.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, you got these reality shows, Dropping Cash LA. Follow around ballers as they drop thousands and thousands of dollars. It's like, what? WTF? Like, what's going on?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Like, what is going on? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and the thing that we got to realize too is we've, you know, I will always say we become dependent on these things, and you look at it and you see, you know, a kid's crying or something, a little kid, give them a phone and they just sit there playing games. Oh, stop talking, just play your game.
Well, it's like,
or leave mom and dad alone, go watch TV. What are they watching?
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And you guys both have kids, and you said, you know, you want to make sure your kids are in safe environments and positive environments.
I told you, no TV for me.
Well, it's not necessarily that, but dude, public schools?
Yeah, no.
And even some of the private ones, you know? I mean, like, and how are we letting the state mandate, you know, like how we raise our children? And on top of that, they're now talking about like, and I think Oregon, and that scares me because that's so close to here. They're talking about making it mandatory that if you have a young like infant like your kid, you gotta have like nanny cams up that they can watch, make sure nothing bad happens.
In my home?
Yes.
No, that's invasion of my privacy.
Dude.
I know, I understand. I totally believe you. I'm just saying.
So now,
well, in the big cities, they got these vans with these X-ray machines that can literally see everything inside your home. How is that not invasion of my privacy?
Oh, it is.
And so, like another reason, the voice, our voice. If this is happening, then our voice needs to raise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we need to inspire others that if you're going to vote, find somebody or find a reason to vote for it. Don't just say, okay, I'm a Republican, I'm going to vote Republican. Because what if you don't believe in what that dude is voting for? Now, here's the thing that I watched for last year. How many delegates did the Republicans have up on that panel as a debate? 8, 10, 12? So now we have 8, 10, 12 Republicans to choose from, which means the Democrats had their 8, 10, 12. So now it's not just 2 or 3. Now we have, you know what, we're just going to scrape the bottom of this barrel. We're going to throw them up there. We're going to ask these questions, and the top 6 are going to get to advance. Now we're in America's Next Top Model or America's Got Talent as our presidential candidates.
Hey,
right?
Hey, if it was at least like that, and you know, you could dial like a 1-800 number and make it like an actual, because dude, these voting machines, like how are we having these people vote that are dead?
Now let's maybe make them go through American Ninja. Right, so now they gotta run across this thing, and if you can't run across it, then
that Japanese one, that the castle one.
Oh
yeah, where they gotta like climb up those things with the boulders coming down.
Yes.
And,
MXC.
Yeah, but it's the real show's called like Toshiro's Castle.
But MXC.
Japan's got some amazing TV shows.
Oh, some very weird stuff.
England's got some amazing TV shows as well. We're American. we have our shows.
Yank.
You know, and that was a nickname for 2 years. I'll take it. But you know, we need to, if we're going to inspire our children and inspire the next generation, and even our generation, because we're in our 30s. Well, you guys are in your 30s, 40s. I'm just about to be 26 again, and so. You know, these 3 generations are the one.
Even the one right above us. You know, the next 10 years, those 50-somethings.
Well, you know,
those people, we have to remember that those people were the Gen Xers, bro. They were punks. They were hardcore punks.
Oh,
and they questioned everything.
Well, the thing that
so why aren't they questioning now?
Well, see, because people we're just taught to ignore because we just have to worry about money and being safe. That's why we need to fix the roots. And the same reason people don't call and ask for help for suicide, because we're afraid to ask. We're afraid to, talk about this sort of thing. And at the same time, where do we talk about this? So that actually brings to me a great point, because you've been talking a lot about potlucks lately.
Yes.
And I think what would be a great idea is, especially once the weather gets nicer, start doing potlucks at like Front Street or something and trying to get the community involved, where we can start talking about how do we change this community. And that's a safe place that we can all sit there and talk about it. Then we aren't posting on the internet or doing anything like that. We're out there doing it.
So that's a great platform for next week, right? We're running out of time here.
Yes, we are.
So, Zay, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries.
Yes, thank you.
Ben, as always, brother, thank you. This is Dandy from Death to Lefties and KFUG Radio 101.1 FM. And thank you so much for joining us. Inspire your children and inspire your neighbors to be better people. Because without this community and without this world and the hearts that we have, we're pretty much going to go down in spirals. Mm-hmm. So let's build the world. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Blessings and love.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.